and money, and they're just greedy, you know. And I think that it's an
Exactly.
important thing to. So I really wanted to talk to you about this post a little bit, and
Mhm.
ask you, you know, a bit more about how you see that problem, and how it is in your experience.
Oh, of course. So shelters are unfortunately the middleman. They're most public shelters. They don't have a say. They can't turn animals away. And if they could, even if they could, and they did turn animals away, the alternative, if people don't have a safe place, or I use safe relatively, if they don't have
Hmm.
a safe place to really literally abandon their animals, what are they going to do?
Hmm.
They're going to let the dogs or cats loose on the street, or worse, take them, behind a house, and they can kill them. So shelters are a necessary thing, but they don't have a say on which dogs can come in and which can't. They have to accept all of them, and shelters don't have a lot of money. These shelters they're run by cities and
Hmm.
counties. There's not a lot of money in there, so they're very limited on space. They're limited on staff. They require a lot of the stuff that they need volunteers.
Hmm.
So when people dump their animals at a shelter, and then others get mad that the shelters are euthanizing them, it's really unfair to them. I mean, they're the
Hmm.
ones that are taking on the burden for all of these irresponsible people.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are taking care of the dogs to the best of their abilities. They don't have full time, most of them don't have vets on call or on staff. They have
Hmm.
clinic vets, but they don't have like emergency services. So a lot of dogs as well that go in there with grievous injuries, the shelter doesn't have the means to care for them. Even if they could get them the surgery, how are they going to care for them afterwards if they're
Hmm.
caring for hundreds of others?
Yeah.
So the misguided anger that a lot of like our society, has
Hmm.
towards shelters, it's really unfair. And a lot of the comments are, I mean, I run one of the social media accounts for one of the rescues that we work with,
Hmm.
and they adopt a lot, or they pull from a lot of different shelters in the area. And unfortunately, we can't save them all. We don't have
Hmm.
enough people to do so. And so it never fails. When we have a post where it's like, hey, it's the code red, this dog is going to be euthanized
Yeah.
tomorrow if we don't have someone pull them, there's a slew of comments about,
Hmm.
that the shelters are evil and how dare they and how can they kill such a beautiful, healthy animal. And it's like, whoa, wait a second, guys.
Yeah.
You realize that the shelters are doing the best that they can.
And
Like,
instead
if
of
you're so
commenting, can you just come and pick him up? Like, I mean,
exactly,
seriously, if you
exactly.
care so much
Yeah.
to, because this is something that me and my boyfriend talk about a lot as well, is all
Mhm.
these people with their comments and their,
Yep.
judgments, and they do fuck
Yeah.
all, sorry to just say it like
Yeah.
that, but it's like,
No, say it.
really, come on,
Yeah.
it just really bothers me. And it is something so important what you're saying, because I believe for sure that it's actually heartbreaking for them to euthanize these animals. The
Mhm.
last thing an animal shelter wants to do is kill the animals that are
Right.
coming in, of course,
They're not
Yeah.
getting into this business for the money, and they're not
No.
getting into it because they want to hurt animals. They
No.
get into it because they love them
Exactly.
and they
And they want to
want to
help
do their
them. Yeah,
part. And
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right. If we have, and this goes not just for, well, I guess for anything, the keyboard warriors that you're talking
Yeah.
about,
Oh,
where
oh, girl,
really that's
seriously. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and when
have
it's
such a
something
problem.
as important as life and death, yeah,
Yeah,
when it's something as important as life and death, do something. Even if all
exactly.
you can do is share a post, even if
Yeah.
all you can do is educate for the next, that dog that's in need, just something
Yeah.
instead of go and blame the messenger. Like
Absolutely.
that's not
Because I
okay.
sometimes also, I really feel that too, like, where is the positivity? You know what I mean? Like, people
Mhm.
always, they just, they crave negativity. They always want to say something that is actually,
Yeah.
and the time and energy that you're wasting on posting or commenting on something
Mhm.
like that, whereas I think you could have done exactly what you're saying. You could have shared it with a friend. You could have done something yourself, like, and it is really, really important. And I think that
Right.
that post for me, yeah, it was really powerful. Of course, also because of the beautiful photo with the post, those
Thank
two
you.
hugging each other, but also very much about, yeah, what you were saying, because I think there is so much judgment there that is
Mhm.
not fair and not placed in the right direction. I think
Right.
it's like breeders get away with everything, but the shelters get the blame for everything. And it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
not
And
really.
people, I think too, they don't realize, which is crazy to me, but so many people I think don't realize how shelters and how rescues work.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people, they giving up your animal is never an okay thing. I'm not saying
Hmm.
that, but not understanding, like I think a lot of people have this rainbows and sunshine type of idea that, oh well, if I can't take care of my dog anymore, I'll give it to the shelter. The shelter will take care of it until someone adopts him or her.
Yeah.
And that's what they really truly think. And what they don't realize is that no, in most cases your dog, there's a good chance that your dog is going to be put to sleep because no one else is there, especially if they have behavioral problems.
Hmm.
Dogs go into shelters, and if they're afraid, they're confused, they're upset, they react very differently. So if a dog starts exhibiting reactivity or what the shelter deems as aggression, those
Hmm.
dogs are often pulled from the adoption floor, so they're no longer being seen by the public. And a lot of times they're put kind of in the back where it's like a
Hmm.
rescue hold. Like they're not going to
Yeah.
adopt this dog out to the public. A rescue has to step in and take the dog.
Yeah.
And rescues have a hard time doing that because they don't have a lot of fosters that can handle or that are willing to take on a super challenging dog, especially
Hmm.
if they have other dogs.
Yeah.
Taking on a dog reactive dog when you
Yeah.
have a pack of dogs is
Absolutely.
tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
So
it's really,
and
and
then
it
and
can be really,
yeah,
yeah, dangerous as well.
right.
Yeah.
And people with rescues as well, they think, like, we see the emails all the time from the rescues we work with where it's like, hey, I can't handle my dog anymore. Can you take it? And they don't realize that don't, most rescues function, at least out here, they function based on like fosters. So there
Hmm.
isn't like some big facility that they have that they can house dogs in.
Yeah.
It's okay, do we have a foster home available? And a lot of rescues are fairly small and they have very limited resources. So when people are like, hey, just why can't you take my dog? Like, what's wrong? You're supposed to be a rescue. You're supposed to help.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
well, we would help if we had a place to put your dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
so people they wear these like blinders, and they
Yeah.
only see and hear what they want to see and hear, and that's where I
And I
think
also, too many times, I think people do see dogs still and animals in general as objects. They're
oh
not,
yeah,
but they
absolutely,
the dogs are people. They're beings.
yeah,
They have souls. They have lives. Also,
mhm,
already
they're
referring to a
individuals,
dog to it is so
yes,
wrong. It's a he or she. What I mean?
mhm,
They're beings. They're not things. And you can't just go back to a
exactly,
shop and go, hey, can I still get my money back? Can I still swap this one over for
right,
another one? It's like,
yeah,
it's not a freaking, I don't know, CD player that you come and swap
yeah,
over. It's
absolutely,
so that's, I think, happens too many
yeah.
times
Would
as well.
would you do that to your human child? I
Yeah,
mean, like, I don't
exactly.
like this one.
I don't want this
She's
baby.
talking
Can I
back.
get another
Take
one?
it away. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and some people unfortunately do, but as a
Yeah.
society, the society as a whole does not deem that to be acceptable.
Yeah.
If you give up on your child, you're kind of ostracized, and no one wants to deal with you.
Yeah.
You're all of a sudden a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
You give up your dog. I mean, I'm sure that the vast majority of us know at least one or two people who have dumped their dog or
Yeah.
their cat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's so there is a difference, like I said, exactly, that animals are still seen as objects, as commodities, as property, and
Yeah.
that's not what they are. And
Mm-hmm.
they're individuals, they're sentient beings,
Absolutely.
just like
Absolutely.
humans.
Yeah. They are like exactly what you're saying, and your shirt reads it, dog mom, like you have.
Yeah,
My kids
I don't
have four
own
legs.
them.
This is how it is.
Yeah,
That's how it is. No, exactly. I
yeah,
also like to refer to a dog person, like to a dog mom or father or person
hmm
more than an owner, because we don't
yeah,
own these dogs. It's always like, oh, the owner said this, the owner
right.
said that. It's like, yeah, Miguel
I
and I,
know,
we always refer to it as like, what's his
their
person,
parent,
like,
or
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's right. Even in my language, I'm from Holland. You even say like you are either their woman or their man, or their mother or their father.
mhm.
It's really
Oh,
quite
I
sweet,
like that.
because that's,
Yeah,
yeah, it makes way more sense in the in the whole idea of who we are and the relationships to these beautiful. I mean, yeah, I mean, I get you so much, because for me also, my dog is my life. It's my,
yeah. It's your baby.
yeah, it's your everything.
It's your
It's your
baby. Yeah.
everything. Yeah, absolutely. And we spent 12 years, every single day, day in, day out, all the dramas.
Mm-hmm.
He's all been there. He's seen them all,
Yeah.
by my side. Yeah, it's like you go. I don't think I've ever had a friend who had been with me for that long,
Oh,
side by
there is
side.
there is
So
no friend like a dog
no,
or an
exactly,
animal. I mean, really, there's
exactly,
not.
absolutely. I totally agree. And something else that I also spoke about this with Carly in my other podcast. Do you feel very much from your experience as well, especially pit bulls are like kind of misunderstood, judged, discriminated, and have a bad name for some reason as a dog?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And at least out here in the U.S., every 20 to 30 years, it seems like there's a new dog breed or type of
Mm-hmm.
dog that they want to attack. I mean, German
Yeah.
Shepherds, Rottweilers, Dobermans, they've all been on the list.
Yeah.
As far as like the quote unquote dangerous breeds out here, depending on how extensive their lists are, everyone is a bit different. But even a Husky, then Malamutes, there's so many dogs that are on this dangerous breed list. But right now, it's absolutely the pit bull type dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and they are completely misunderstood. I mean, people still think that when you say a pit bull that you're talking about a breed, and the majority of the public, that's not what they're talking about. They're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a type of dog. They're like a So, I mean, even like the blue nose, the red nose pit bulls, people just have no idea that that's
Mm-hmm.
just a color. It's not a
Yeah.
bloodline. It's not,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not an
Yeah.
AKC registered breed. So, I mean, here we have, let's see, 4 of our dogs have some kind of bully mix in them. So they have
Mm-hmm.
some kind of pit bull dogs in them. They're all rescues, so we don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 of them, Taz and Blue, the 2 little lovebirds, they are very clearly in that family, and everyone knows it. Even our newest one, Brent, he's in that. Everyone, you can't deny that there's some kind of bully in them.
Mm-hmm.
And people will cross the streets. I've had people that they they'll sometimes they'll want to pet them, but they're afraid to. And I'm like, dude, oh, like they're super friendly. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, people will lift up their dogs. They'll pull their kids away. They'll
Mm-hmm.
sorry, our little foster's mad that
It
he's
was
not in here with
I
me.
would say there's a baby
Yeah,
asking for
he's
some
mad.
attention.
But yeah, they're completely misunderstood. People still talk about a dog. Pit bulls have a locking jaw. It's like they're a dog. Where's the unlock button? Like they're not. There's no such thing as a locking jaw.
Mm-hmm.
These dogs don't all of a sudden just snap. No animal, no human included. We don't just snap
Yeah.
one day and go on a killing spree.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always something that comes up to it. And dogs are the same way. Dogs,
Yeah.
they don't just snap one day and attack. Like there's always something that causes that. We might just not know what it is, and that's okay if we don't know. But to say that because that these types of dogs have all of these terrible characteristics and that they should be banned, like in Denver, it's absurd. I mean, these BSL laws are absolutely ridiculous, and they do more harm than good. They don't help anybody, the dogs, especially the dogs, but not even the general public. It doesn't increase public safety.
Yeah, because that was another
all.
thing that you shared also on your Instagram, and Carly and I spoke about it as well. The mayor of Denver has decided not to let the ban go and continue the ban, right, of these specific dogs in Denver. Whereas when I commented, and I'd like to say this again, I think mayors are a lot more scary than these dogs are.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
no, they totally are. And I believe that as of yesterday, they started rounding up dogs in Denver. I think that I read that there were 12 dogs taken from their homes because of the way they look. They don't have a bite record. They haven't done anything wrong. It's not even like they're DNA testing these dogs.
Second World War all over again. I mean, what are we even talking about?
Right.
Like, what are we even doing? Like, it's just totally.
We can't learn, apparently.
No, it's just like I just don't get it. It's like, what the hell? And from loving homes, like taking away dogs, it's just unbelievable. Just because a mayor thinks something of something, it's just crazy.
Right. And what people who have those who have suffered some kind of dog attack, regardless of the breed, that sucks. And I'm sorry for them. That's not cool. But again, dogs and animals, non-human animals, are not mean. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like they do things because they're spiteful or
Yeah.
anything like that, like humans are.
Like
Like we
humans
can do
are,
things out of
exactly.
spite,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're malicious.
Yeah.
Dogs aren't.
No.
So when a dog does something, it's because of one of two things. It's either acting out of instinct, which
Yeah.
can you really blame them,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it's